Well, welcome back, my friends, all to another rousing rendition. The Choir Boys Outdoors. We're going to do a Jack Wolf Knives. Now, we're going to do it a little old school. I'm giving you a good look at the box there, and hopefully my ass sitting in the shot. But if it is, just consider yourself lucky that you got to view it today. So here's the deal. Jack Wolf Knives. Now, I get asked a ton, are they worth it? Well, here's the thing. I love these knives for a lot of reasons, and they send them to me to check them out. So that makes it tricky, doesn't it? Now, this is the After Hours Jack in blue linen micarta. I often wonder when people ask me, is it worth it? And I think, too, because a lot of times in this day and age, we're all on a budget, right? And if you're going to spend your money, you want to make sure it's worth it. Well, I just told you, they send them to me to check out. Here's what I can tell you. When it comes to owning a Jack Wolf Knives, would I buy one? Yes. And I think anybody who loves knives needs one in their collection. Would I buy all of them? No. I'd be lying if I told you that. They're all great quality. Now, the whole, are they worth it? And that's subjective. I can't tell you that. Wouldn't tell you that. Now, there's a lot of people who will tell you that. Trust me, they have no problem telling you that. But I'm not that guy, and I'm not that channel. That's not what we do. Damn, that's sweet. That blue linen micarta, typically, man, that's nice. I'm just now seeing this for the first time. I'm going to list some other channels who do all the show and tell stuff, and they do it very, very well. I'm not one of them. We do function. Man, I like that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just looking at it for the first time. Back to, is it worth it? Here's the thing, man. I'm a function guy, right? I want to see the knife work. Now, I'm digging this, but I like, you give me something sharp, you give me something well made, and I'm all about it, right? S90V, blue linen micarta. Got kind of and if I told you I was an expert on blade shapes, I'd be lying. I believe that's a Warncliffe or sheep's foot, and I don't know the difference, nor do I care. I really don't. I know this style of blade you see here is conducive for work. Let's get back to, is it worth it? They use quality materials. They're really, really, really well done. And one thing I don't want to do, I don't want to make this argumentative, right? I don't want to just come out being a smartass. I know sometimes I get misread a lot and coming off as a smartass or telling it like it is. And that, I know this. If this was made in the USA, they'd put $150 on top of this price tag, and they'd want you to believe that you were lucky to get it for that. So is it worth it? That's subjective to you and what you make. I can tell you they're high quality. I can tell you they work good. And I can tell you that because I've done demonstrations on a ton of them. Now, what we're going to do, because this is why Jack Wolf sends me these, right? They don't send me these to talk about detent. They don't send me these to wax poetic on all the nuances of the knife. They send them to me because they know I'm going to sit my ass right here and cut shit up. This is Kevlar fire hose. A dude sent it to me. He wanted to remain nameless, but he is an awesome dude. Try this again. This stuff is some tough shit. Let's try one down here. Let's try a little of this. One thing I like doing this, I like seeing how the tip operates. While we don't do anything scientifically, I'm going to have to sharpen that up a little bit. While we don't do anything scientifically, there is a reason for a lot of what we do. I like to take a knife. When I review a knife, I like to ask myself, if something happened, and not some dumbass zombie apocalypse, but if something happened, and this was the only knife I had on me, because y'all have all heard the saying, what's the best knife for every situation? Well, it's the one you got in your hand. It comes down more to skill set than it does knife, I believe. Now, there are knives that are conducive to situations better than others, but if this was the only knife I had, can I make it work, right? It has to be sharp. It has to hold up. Now, I believe that is a bolster lock. I'm working on stuff, guys. I'm working on my terms. You've got some good jimping right there. Deep carry pocket clip. I'm going to keep going back and saying, is it worth it? I guess my point here is this. Only you can answer that. No YouTube channel, nobody can answer that question for you. We just can't, and I'm not going to. Like I said, I would make sure I owned one because I love them, but I mean, I'm not going to buy all of them, right? That's just being real with you. I would pick out probably 3 or 4, and I think every knife lover needs to at least experience it. A lot of the times with the is it worth it, that's just a budget thing. And people hammer the China thing. Listen to me. Well, I ain't paying the slave labor. That's one thing that runs up one side of me and down the, and I'm not saying this to be argumentative. So you'll buy every other product under the sun from China and have zero problem supporting slave labor there, but not on knives. Knives is the hill we're going to die on. I'm not judging. I'm really not. I'm really not trying to be an ass or argumentative. I just try to look at things all kind of different ways, right? I love American knives. I want y'all to know that. Right now in my pocket, I have over $1,000 of American knives on me. I love them. But to shit on something else, because that's what we grew up doing, and thinking it's not quality, well, that's foolish, right? You don't like it, don't buy it. You want to rail against it, rail against it. You're not going to change my mind. And here's where I'm just die hard about that. I'm at work. Got guys over there waiting on me to get off work. So the thing is this. These guys and these boys right here with me work. We work for a living. So you're not going to tell us where we're going to spend our money. We're not here to do that. Now, this is 1-inch inner diameter sandblast hose, right? That's where I get a little miffed with people. It's your money. You earned it. You spent it. Again, I would buy me 2 or 3 of them. I believe in them. I believed in them before they sent me a damn thing. All right, guys, all right, let's take a look how it sits in the pocket, how it rides in the pocket. Again, this is the after hours jack. Not really a deep, it is kind of a deep carry, but you still have some protruding there. Just to give you a good look there, and let's see, let's take it out. We'll put it in the back pocket. Some guys I know at work will ride their knives in their back pocket throughout the day to be able to reach back and get them, and I understand that. I typically don't, because I forget some bitches back there. So it's a good riding little knife, beautiful knife. Now listen, a couple of things I was saying in the first segment. I'm gonna pull back some on the Chinese knives thing for this video. We'll do another video on that in the next month. I have a lot to say about it, but I want to make it coherent. I want to put my thoughts together. And the other thing is I want to focus on this Jack Wolf. So I'm not abandoning that line of thought. We'll do another video and we'll focus on the knife from here. And is it worth it? Well, here's the thing I thought about too. All things considered, right? Is it worth it? That's a tough question. If it's sharp, if the materials are good, if the construction's good, then you can start to have the conversation with yourself. Hey, do I want to spend that money? What I was saying about I wouldn't buy all of them, I'm not saying it that way. Think about my channel. My channel is typically known for large fixed blades, kind of crazy stuff. So, and it's more indicative of kind of the stuff I carry. 2 or 3 Jack Wolves would be a treasure trove, trust me, because they are well built. They are worth it to me. But again, these are not, I'm trying to think how to put it. Like if you're a collector, that's different. I've had people, and I've read comments, people don't realize I'm in a lot of lives or listening to a lot of lives. They don't know I'm there, and that's fine. But I've had people say, well, you know, Scab needs to understand that not everybody works in a factory or industrial. Oh, I understand it. I understand that people collect these. I understand that. Now, I'm not a collector, so for me, 2 or 3 of these again. And I'll tell you, my favorite one is the Doctor. Is it the Feel Good Jack? Yeah, dude, that thing is badass. This one will go in the rotation. I like the size. I like the feel. And trust me, guys, when I talk about using your shit and things like that, maybe this isn't the one you want to learn how to use a knife on, cutting industrial materials and beating the shit out of it because of the price point. Not that it can't handle it. I prove month in and month out, they can handle it. Like I said in the beginning, Ben doesn't send these things to me for my cinematographic presentation. He knows I'm going to cut shit with them, and we are. This is a Dead Man from a blast hose. Just some kind of softer air hose, but it's one I like to use. And let me address this too. When I was talking about the tip, the tip is sharp, not as sharp as I would prefer it for the things I do. I can remedy that. That's no problem. Every Jack Wolf I've gotten thus far has came very sharp. There are certain things that I do once I do the demonstration. I typically go up near the tip, probably, and not just Jack Wolf, but all knives, probably a quarter to a half inch down, and I make that a little sharper for a lot of the stuff that I might do at work, and just some of it is just my preference, right? So it is sharp, but I'd like it a little sharper. Now, the control on the knife, let's see, is damn good. You can rip and pull. I like that bolster lock. See, again, if we can get it, it's S90V. I'm going to give you some stats in just one second. If you really think about this video and everything I've cut while I've just sat here talking, and I know, guys, I know these videos where I'm doing them in the moment are probably twice the length of my other ones. And you know what? That's okay. I would rather give you a good, solid overall opinion on the knife and look at the knife work than kind of rush it. Cut a few more things and I'll give you some stats. I like the size of this knife. I really do. I over getting into YouTube, one of the doors that's opened up is some nicer knives, whether they're slip joints or whether they're, you know, gentleman's carry like these, what have you. I've been able to experience knives in a way I never thought I would. I mean, honestly. And that, I think, too, when we talk about is the knife worth it, it's not that I doubt my own opinion or I don't value my opinion on a knife. I try to be very, 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 not careful, but I realize that you guys are watching the videos. I realize there is some influence there. So if I don't pay for a knife, I'm not paying for a knife. It's hard for me to go, man, it's so worth it, because I don't know your situation. Does that make sense? It's nothing about riding the fence. I will tell you this. If you see a knife on my channel, it is worth the conversation, at least to yourself. Is it worth it for me? And I'll tell you why. Because I do my dead level best just to have quality knives on. Have I missed? Have we found some duds? Yeah, sure. You're not going to do as many videos as I do and not. But Jack Wolf's not one of them. I'm very, very, very mindful of the companies that I have on here consistently. I'm very mindful. There's a certain set of standards they have to be on here, believe it or not. I know people will roll their eyes and laugh at that, but it's true. One is they have to be consistent. And I'm not talking about in just one thing. I'm talking about across the board. I like consistency. And if it's consistently bad, it ain't going to be on here long. I'm not going to waste your time. And again, just in case you're wondering, yes, this is a knife that I would definitely purchase. This is a knife I will definitely carry. One-handed carry, that's big for me at work. That blue denim micarta, man, that's dope. That's so dope. Check out Donnie B. All Day's video on these, and I'll put Ben's video on it as well to give you a little more of the nuance. I know they're dropping March 17th. The overall length, guys, is 7 1/8. The blade length, if we're going to be real, is 3 1/16 with a 3-inch, no, with a 2 3/4 cutting edge. I like that he's got some nice little fullers on this. I know that you probably don't need them, and I know usually one side's your nick clip, but I like the aesthetic of the dual fullers. Got some nice jimping there. Our channel focuses, if you're new here, our channel focuses on function. I do very little with fit and finish. However, the fit and finish I have always experienced has been a solid 9 or 10, always. And I don't nitpick enough, and I don't mean that ugly. I like, there are other channels that are great at looking at all the different nuances and the things a pocket knife should have for collectors. I'm not that guy. We worry about, does it cut? How does it feel in hand? Are there hot spots? I'll just give you the length closed. I'll shut up. Length closed is about 4 1/16. The thickness, now we're not counting the clip, obviously, is right at, it's right under 3/8. Right under 3/8. 5/16 thick. So you've got a bit for a little pocket knife for a gentleman's carry. Let's do this up here too. I wanted to see this. So if we pull I guess we're going to call that the width, right? It's not the thickness, that's the width. That's 5/8 at the top. And 7/8 at the bottom. So it does flare out. And you can see here too, now I don't have massive hands. The maul of my hand, the back of my hand, the maul is extra large. My fingers are probably medium. I'm built like the world's tallest dwarf, but you can see there, I can get a good solid grip on it. I got it in hand, and again, looking dope, man. I love this thing. Listen, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. On the weekends, they're higher. The real numbers run anywhere from 15 to 29. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. Man, you have a place here. That's all that means. I back the blue. It pisses people off. I'm sorry. I know this is a tough day and age to do that. But you know what? If you're going to do something, do it. I don't shove it down folks' throat. It's just something I believe in. But if I'm going to believe in it, I'm going to believe in it and not apologize for it. Finally, if you are an addict, and I am, never quit quitting. Well, guys, the After Hours Jack, blue denim micarta, I'm digging it. Is it worth it? This one, to me, in my mind, screaming yes. I think you have to take all knives on an individual basis. You have to look at your budget. But the consistent quality that they put out, I'm with. I'm Scab. You're not. Put everything you're feeling in the comments. When I do my video on the Chinese versus American, or not, we're not doing verse. We're just going to do my thoughts on Chinese knives. We'll talk about all of it. I'm gone, son. Love y'all. Have a great rest of your week.